Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am super excited that you've joined me on this magical today. And today I wanted to tell you all about the magical trip that I just experienced in Montana. I had the opportunity to spend a good 5 days in this amazing sacred space, this retreat up on the mountain covered in sage. Now, at this retreat location, the main house and the guest house and the cottage and all the little accessory buildings are built out of straw bale, chicken wire, mud, and cement and plaster. All of the items that are used to build this house were found either at the dump, they were given, whatever it may be. All of the materials were essentially, well, not all of them, but a lot of them were free, reused. And what was so interesting about that to me is I had already had that on the brain before I got there, is that I really want to do something like that in my life at some point when it's right. I've always had this idea of sustainable living and how wonderful it would be to build a home with the things that we find, because it is possible. And this home was absolutely beautiful. Running water, flushing toilets. That's the main house. Not so much the guest house or the little cottage I stayed in. Those were dry toilets. And I'll tell you what, here's one thing I learned about using a dry toilet for that many days. And I think the woman who runs this retreat said it properly. When you do this for a certain amount of time, you really get to deal with your own shit. And you know what? It's so true. At a retreat like this, where you are completely out of touch, not in Wi-Fi connection or cell phone service, and you can disconnect, be with the land, connect with the land, and disconnect from the rigmarole, the outside world that we're so used to in our daily 9 to 5. And when we do have the opportunity to disconnect, connect with the land, we get to connect with ourselves. We get to deal with our own shit. And that is the most beautiful thing to me about going on retreats like this, dealing with our own stuff, our own triggers, our own anything. Whatever is coming up in our lives that we have questions about, things that are maybe holding us back, whatever it may be, going into a retreat space, going out into nature, disconnecting for a moment, we have the ability to get inside of ourselves and get the answers for ourselves. One of the things that I was able to do here at this retreat was take a walk in the beautiful labyrinth that they had built. And I went into this labyrinth with questions and also with intentions. And I want to share these with you today because we can all use these exercises every day. We don't have to go into retreat space. We can go into meditation space. We can go on a nice walk in nature. It doesn't have to be a labyrinth. It can be whatever we choose. It can be sitting in our own backyard, going for a walk in our neighborhood. But I went into this labyrinth with questions about what my specific connection was to this land in Montana. I think a couple weeks ago, and it's been already, talked about Sasquatch and my connection to Sasquatch. Well, that has been a big question for me because Sasquatch has been everywhere along this trip. And I have been in California, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Utah, and Sasquatch has been everywhere. And I don't mean I've seen Sasquatch everywhere. I mean there are Sasquatch posters and signs and things that I notice everywhere I go. And so when the universe is showing us signs and symbols like this, it's something for us to listen to. It's meaningful. And so I always knew about my Sasquatch connection, but I didn't quite understand the depth of its meaning. So that was one of my questions. I was also curious about the gold mining that I had done as a Sasquatch, which seemed to be apparent here in this Montana area because it is so rich in gems and minerals. It's also highly crystalline, and the energy is so beautiful. I had never been to Montana before, and it's one of those bucket list places. You see the pictures and you just want to go there, right? Well, it feels like it looks, and I didn't get to see all of Montana, of course, just bits and pieces, and I do certainly want to go back to see more. But the energy is incredibly peaceful and strengthening. The mountains there feel so strong and so abundant and resilient that energy feels very present. And it's a peaceful strength. So back to my labyrinth walk. I went in with this intention to find out the answers to these questions and my connection to the land and all of these things. I know I had other questions. I'm not thinking of them at the moment. My other question was how this information was to be of service to the whole, because I don't think that this personal information is very relevant unless it pertains to our service. And for me, I know I am here in service, and that is my question. What or how can I use this information to help in my service? So I went into the labyrinth, and as I walked in, I was reminded of an exercise. See 5 things around you. What are the very first 5 things that you see? The first thing that comes to mind, the first thing that really catches your eye when you feel or notice it. So I'll tell you what my 5 things were as I walk through the labyrinth. The very first thing I saw was a chipmunk. The next thing, a dandelion. The third, a footprint. The fourth was the sun. And the fifth was a bench, this beautiful wood bench that was sitting there right under a tree at the beginning of the path of the labyrinth. And when I went back and reflected on it, the chipmunk, and the chipmunks have been a totem animal for me this entire trip. It seems they just want to play. And that is their message, to play and have fun. This is also a huge message that comes in through the higher selves of my clients. When they are in trance, the higher self always wants us to play, to have fun, to be more childlike, and laugh more. And when you look at a little chipmunk, doesn't it make you smile? They're so stinking cute, right? And they make the cutest little sound. And there's just so, and it's happy. It's like this little, I don't know what the word is, little squeaky little noise. It's adorable. And so they are just full of happiness and play. So that was a reminder to me to always play, have fun, laugh more. And then I saw the dandelion. And the dandelion is such a strong plant. What a sign of resilience. We call it a weed, but this weed is medicinal. Its strength is enormous. It can grow anywhere and spread its seeds far and wide. This is such an amazing plant. It's used for detoxification. It's used for detoxification mainly of the liver, which holds anger. And so I reflected upon the times, the spaces, the anger within me. I walked along and saw the footpath or the footprint. This footprint was reminding me of all those who had walked before me, all of the ancestors who have come before, who have laid down this path for us, and how much respect and honor that I have for our ancestors. And as a reminder, to walk the path, to continue to walk the path that you are here in service to do, and to always take that next step forward, to keep moving forward, to always keep moving forward, to never stay stagnant, to not be afraid of change, to keep moving forward, to take that step, to walk into the unknown, to not be afraid. And then the sun, the golden, beautiful light of the sun. Well, this was a reminder of who we really are, the light within us all. It also reminded me of the alchemical process within our own selves, how we ourselves make gold within ourselves. This old alchemical, this ancient process is not a physical chemical process. It is an internal, energetic process. And I was reminded how I can help others and myself remember this light within us. And that the gold that I was mining as Sasquatch, that's just a reminder of that. That gold, this gold within us, this golden light, the most powerful source we have. This beautiful light that is made of love. This is our power. This is what keeps us strong and at peace. So Montana was such a beautiful reflection of this for me. And then the bench. The bench was a reminder too. Yes, while we're taking our steps and following our path and doing our work, it is always necessary to slow down, to take a break, to relax, to take time for ourselves, to retreat, to get out of the chaos, to disconnect for a minute so that we can go inside, so that we can remember that we are these beings of light, that we are these powerful beings, and we can do anything that we want to do, as long as we remember that this is our power, this love, this golden light that exists within us. When we recognize this light, we can do anything. We can manifest anything. When we live in this heart light, when this is our intention, we are able to flow in this love. And the divine will always lay this beautiful plan out for us that we desire, because that's what we're here to do, to have fun and to live our life's purpose, to follow our fun, to follow our passions, to follow our desires. Our higher self wants us to do all of these things. And when we are living in this heart-centered, golden love and light, we are able to do all of that with ease. One of the sayings that kept coming up this trip, because we just wanted to flow. We didn't want to stress about time or when we got places. And so we always left later than we actually wanted to. And so we would just say, it's fine, it's all divine. And every time we leave, it had a certain number on the clock. We would see synchronicities everywhere. And we just knew, it's right, it's fine, it's all divine. If something seemed like it wasn't working out at the time, well, there was a reason why it didn't work out. And it was for our growth. It was of necessity. It was to benefit us in some way, whatever the reason may be. And the point is, we are always surrounded with so much help, so much protection, so much love, and the answers are around us everywhere. Everywhere we look, if we want to pay attention. If we are aware, if we ask, we will receive. If we have questions, we need to ask. Ask for help. Ask about the question. Say it. Ask for an answer. Look around. Ask for specific ways. There are so many ways we can get our answers. All of the answers are within us. And when we have the ability to use certain tools to help us to get those answers, it's even more fun. Because who knew that a chipmunk, a dandelion, a footprint, the sun, and a bench could give me so much information? Every time I do this little exercise, I feel so good and it's like I grow so much just by doing this tiny little exercise because I gain my own answers, because I get clear within myself and I am able to connect with that part of myself that has those answers. And the fun thing is, when we do connect in this way, sometimes our higher selves, our collective, likes to give us an idea that they've been around. And after I left this labyrinth walk, I was buzzing. My entire body felt like it was vibrating with this really fun little buzz all over the surface. And that's my indication that the energy is ever present. My guides have been there. And also that it's not something I made up, because you can't make up things like that. I could have walked out of there not feeling that, thinking I made up all of that in my own little imagination, which is never the case. My higher self likes to give me a little extra bonus and give me that little high vibe sensation. So I really know, pay attention. We just gave you some important information. And I want you to all know that this is available to you. You have all of the answers within you. We just need to ask. Listen to the very first thing that comes and trust it. Integrate it. It is so beautiful. Sometimes the things aren't so lovely. Sometimes things are messy. Like the one thing about my anger. Well, that's not so fun. Really, where's my anger? I don't always know. Yeah, I guess there is some there. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. Anger is an emotion, just like any other emotion. It's not bad. It's not good. It just is. And we don't need to be afraid of anger or walk away from it or think it's not spiritually, in tune. No, that's all BS. All emotions are here for us to experience. And so if we are out of balance within our emotions in any way, it's good to put ourselves into check. And so I had to put myself into check quite a few times, recognizing, oh, there it is. Okay, I see it now. Thank you for the reminder. So it's not always rainbows, and sometimes it's messy. Either way, we get to the other side, and there's that beautiful pot of gold. And I think I'm going to leave it at that for today, everyone. I'm going to leave you with this song by Dea Dova, Footsteps in the Stars. Until next time, I love you all.